Hi, my name's Judy Wright. I attended a presentation several months ago about sanitation during a disaster. There was some really good information, but there was also some things that I had serious questions about. And so I started doing my own research. And as a result of that research, I did this presentation. Now, some scientists say that the destructive forces that we're experiencing are just part of a normal cycle. I don't know whether they are or not, but I know that we are living through a time that is geologically troubling. I believe that we have religious people and prophets that have told us to be prepared, not just for earthquakes and floods, but also for situations in our families like losing a job. The problems that I face in my area are earthquakes and floods. Yes, there might be a chemical spill on the railroad tracks, but that means evacuation and sewage won't be a problem. But earthquakes and floods in my area could be. So, during an earthquake, all those lovely sewer pipes can break. Some are 3 feet down, but I have a basement, so mine are 12 feet down. If they break, they fill with dirt, they can be blocked or drain outside the pipes, and eventually they're going to back up. This becomes a neighborhood problem because if the pipe breaks down by my neighbor's house and I keep flushing my toilet, it may back up into his house first before it gets to mine. Just so you know, these are the earthquakes that have occurred that are 7.0 since 2000. These are earthquake zones. Guess what? I live on an earthquake fault. And these are volcanoes in the US. And guess what? I live close enough to a volcano. Floods are also a sewage problem. Sewage backup and sewage lines breaking and floods mixing with sewage are just, yeah. When a home floods, your house drains fill and the sewage mixes with the flood water. I joke with people. I tell them I'm going to buy an ark and I'll just float away. And unlike Noah, you can float away with me. Immediately after an earthquake, you need to prevent flammable hydrogen sulfide and flammable methane gases from coming into your home. Now, you can only smell hydrogen sulfide for 2 seconds, and then your nose doesn't smell it anymore. If you smell sewer gases, it's too late. They are flammable. You need to vent your house immediately and evacuate. Everyone in the neighborhood has to do this. If your neighbor's home burns, it could burn your home and the neighbors too, and then there may not be any water to put it out. Now, if you smell those gases, when you leave your home, don't turn on or off lights and don't light a candle. If you smell it, there must be no sparks. What do? Well, don't panic. There is a solution. The solution is nothing goes up or down your drains. The goal is to prevent water, sewage, and gases from entering or leaving your home. Don't flush the toilet. Immediately after a severe earthquake, you're going to assume that those sewer pipes are broken, whether they are or not. Don't put anything into the sewer, not even water. I'm going to suggest you watch the following video. It has practical advice about preventing sewage backup. It's too long to attach here, but it's from North Dakota State University and it's excellent and I suggest you watch it. This is a backflow check valve. These are in newer homes and they'll only allow water to flow in one direction, and that's from your house out to the sewer lines in the street. They ideally will prevent all sewage backup. However, there is a small possibility that something could get stuck in the valve and then you can have some sewage backup. Check with your city inspector and see if when your house was built, these were required. This is a great solution. Keep it simple. I don't know how else to say this. I'm going to present a lot of information and more complicated solutions because people have brought these up during presentations. But be creative. Keep your solutions simple and doable. This is a test ball plug. It can be put into a sewer line and completely plug it up so you don't have any sewage backing up into your home or leaving your home. Some people suggested you can use it in the main sewer line. It is a great idea. The sewer line that comes from the street to your home is close to the clean out, or you're a plumber or you really know what you're doing. It's a great option. However, I'm not going to be able to use it. Some people's cleanout valves are rusted shut. The connection to the main sewer pipe from the cleanout pipe is curved, and the ball has to go around the curve into the main sewer pipe that comes from the street. My house has a basement. The sewer pipe is 12 feet down from the cleanout opening. Obviously, I won't be able to tell if the test ball plug's in the right place. If it's not in the right place, I'm going to still have sewage backup. The area where all the pipes connect, that curved pipe, as well as the straight pipes, it's larger than the test ball plug that will fit down the pipes. So you have to make sure it goes beyond that curve into the right pipe. With my clean out being 12 feet away, I won't be able to do it. But if you can, this is a great way to take care of things for me. Now, there are also test plugs. Test plugs, you have to do this in advance. Find the floor drainers in your home, like the laundry room and utility room. Remove the drain covers. Most of them unscrew. Insert a test plug in each hole. Twist the plug clockwise to tighten. As you twist the wing nut on the top, it expands the rubber ring so it really fits tightly. Plug all other tub and sink drains and overflows. I suggest you go to a plumbing supply store for these because they have a larger supply. And you can't do this last minute. There's not going to be any in the stores, trust me. This is a floor drain plug or floor guard. It'd be great in your laundry room or your utility room, but you'll need to do this ahead of time. The bottom or float, that half ball thing, moves up in case of a backup. It's great for backups, but not for floods, because in a flood, things are going down, not just up. The float mechanism must always be free of debris, so if it's in your laundry room, make sure you're cleaning it out yearly and putting some oil on that float. Option for you. Using racquetballs. Cheap thing to do. Racquetballs can be used to plug your toilets and other openings that drain into the sewer. Now, you need to dry out the toilet. And you can't flush it. So you're going to be dipping water out of your toilet and putting it on the lawn. Place a racquetball into a long tube sock, and I mean long tube sock. Use an old unmatched sock. If you've got teenagers, you've got those around. Smooth shortening Vaseline around the racquetball and the sock, and that'll help you remove it. Push the racquetball and sock combination tightly into the hole in your toilet. Plug overflows in tubs and sinks with pieces of racquetball and thin socks. And when the civil authorities say it's all clear, you just pull on the end of the sock and take the racquetball out. You need that sock so you can remove the racquetball. Now I'm going to use disposal stoppers for both sides of my sinks. I have to put enough pressure on those, and again, this is a simple solution. I may put a weight on them just to make sure they stay down. Tub closures, you can take them apart and put racquetballs in there, or all you have to do is close them and put something heavy on them. I've got some block in my garage. I'm just going to stick a block right on top. Don't forget the overflows in your tubs and your sink, and you may want to try small toy balls and thin socks. Again, Keep it simple. The next slide has some complicated illustrations. And I want you to figure out what's the simplest way for you to take care of it. This is a bathroom sink, and it's not too complicated, but it is complicated. There are things you can do to put test ball plugs in the drain. And don't forget, you can cut up smaller toy balls in socks in your sink overflows. This is a drain like you'd have in a standalone shower. You can take things apart and actually put in 2-inch test ball plugs. Almost all drains like that one are 2-inch ones, or you can put in a racquetball. But there's a simpler solution. I have a friend who's got a flat rubber stopper. She's going to use Gorilla Tape and then put a weight on top of it. And it'll probably work, and she doesn't have to take things apart. This is your tub overflow on the side of your tub, and it is very complicated. I'm just going to suggest you use small pieces of toy ball and thin socks to completely plug those holes, and they must be completely plugged. Yay, the lines are plugged, and there's no gases or sewage. Now, one of the most serious problems from poo and hazardous waste is health problems. You can't dig a latrine or put a septic tank in most places. I can't do it. There are reasons. Where does the rain and moisture drain to? I have 3 neighbors whose yards are higher than mine. If it really, really rains, water is draining into the north end of my property. If they dig a latrine in their backyard and bury poo, guess where it's going to drain to? Into my yard. Where are the swamps? I actually have a swamp not very far from me. Where are the springs and wells? My sanitation department said there are wells a little far away from my neighborhood, but by their location, they actually are in places where I cannot bury poo in my backyard. I can't put in a septic tank. I cannot dig a latrine. Where are the high water tables? What happens is sewage and water can hit hard clay layers and travel into gutters and ditches and creeks and wells and rivers. And guess who drinks out of those? Those nasty insects that can drink out of there and spread disease to you. This is Haiti after the earthquake. Haiti already had problems with sanitation, but this made it worse. There are 100,000 people that died from the quake, but 500,000 people got serious infections. I'm talking malaria, dysentery, cholera. 7,000 people died. Don't become a victim, and don't make someone else a victim. You will feel terrible if your neighbor's child dies because you buried poo in your backyard. It also takes all sorts of people to deal with the injured and the ill. Those people could be better used cleaning up and repairing the sewage lines so that everything gets back to normal. It also takes time to repair sanitation systems. This is Portland, Oregon. They've done a lot of work predicting how long it will take to get things repaired. They are saying getting everything done will take over 3 years. And looking in that picture of that road, you can see why. Care of things. I live in a smaller town than Portland, Oregon. And fortunately, my city is very preparedness aware, and I'm so grateful. But my town produces 35,000 gallons of solid waste per day. They predict they will need 11 dump truckloads of solid waste carried off in garbage trucks. They don't have 11 dump truckloads, let alone everything else that will need to be cleaned up in your city. That's a lot of poo. That's a lot of problem. Don't panic. There is a solution. It's called the twin bucket method, and it was used in Christchurch, New Zealand after their 9.0 earthquakes, and Haiti after that earthquake, and Portland, Oregon is planning on using this. I've cited some of their information at the beginning of the presentation. Now, this is how you set up poo and pee buckets. Pee's mostly sanitary unless someone's sick, and you can sprinkle it in your yard, and the word here is sprinkle. Poo is unsanitary. It's hazardous waste. If poo's buried in a yard, it gets into drainage ditches, etc., etc. When pee mixes with poo, it increases the bad odors. So separating pee and poo not only reduces odor, but it reduces disease. And then it means you have less contents to handle and you're eliminating garbage, which we need to do. We need to eliminate as much garbage as possible. You can see by this picture it's going to take a long time to clean up, but also to rid the city of all the garbage that needs to be picked up. Pee bucket instructions. Now on the right-hand side of your screen, this is the cutest pee or poo bucket. It is just darling, but you can't use it. Let me explain why. Number one, that cute pool noodle. Well, you need a tight-fitting lid. That won't work, even though it's cute. You need a handle to carry the bucket, so put the toilet paper somewhere else. And you also need a regular plastic bag. Now, if this lovely plastic bag is all you've got, double it. If not, get heavier duty bags so that you don't have problems. You don't need pee or poo spilled all over your house because the bag wasn't heavy enough. All right, place those pee and poo buckets in a private place, and it helps to have a window in the room. Now I have 3 bathrooms and I don't have windows in any of them. So I'm putting my pee and my poo buckets in my garage, and I don't care if it's 20 below or 120 degrees in that garage. It's just going to happen that way. Place a heavy-duty bag in the bucket, secure it, or you can go without the plastic bag in that pee bucket. I suggest that. What are you going to do with a wet pee bucket bag? Again, we need to eliminate waste. If you need to pee and poo at the same time, I have this lovely expensive pee cup, and you catch the pee while you poo in the poo bucket. And ladies, you can even do this, but you're going to need to sanitize the cup, everybody. Cover the buckets tightly after each use with a tight-fitting lid. You can use a board as a cover or a cookie sheet, but the insects may get under it. I joked about the cookie sheet with a friend of mine, and she says, yeah, and I'll never use it again. Anyway, put all used toilet paper in the poo bucket, and there are good reasons for that. Sanitary wise as well as other things. When it's a half full or whatever weight you can safely carry without spilling it, put on long gloves, dilute the pee with water if you can, sprinkle the pee on your yard. Now it can burn plants if it's all poured in one spot. If you want to burn a plant, go ahead. Rule of thumb is 1 person's pee for a day sprinkled on an area as large as their shadow. Now, this is the reason you put all the toilet paper in the poo bucket. Other than sanitation, you really don't want a bunch of toilet paper sprinkled all over your yard. And I joke with people, we have snow where we live, and if this happens during the winter, we are going to all have yellow snow. After you empty the bucket, clean it out, sanitize gloves, leave it outside to dry if it'll dry outside. Poo bucket instructions. Okay, use a heavy-duty bag, and I do mean heavy-duty. Compactor bags are great. All right, you're going to need some carbon-based material. You put 2 to 3 inches of it at the bottom of your bucket. Kitty litter is great as it dries out the poo and it smells a little better. Dry wood chip mulch is cheaper and it works, the finer the better. Kitty litter, for enough kitty litter to last just 6 months till everything's repaired, you'd have to fill up your garage. Okay, supersize. There's your supersized pee cup to catch pee while you poo in the poo bucket. And then after you poo, you cover it with carbon-based material, and I'm suggesting you use a scoop or a long spoon or something to dip into that wood mulch or kitty litter so that you don't have spills. Cover the bucket with a tight-fitting lid after every use, pee or poo bucket. Only use this bucket for poo and all toilet paper. No disposable diapers or sanitary napkins. Tampons will decompose after years, so they're okay to go in the poo bucket. And you need lots of toilet paper. Okay, when that bucket is half full or not too heavy to carry, put on long gloves, tie the bag up, and place it in a container to transport. Then place the bag in a large garbage can with a tight-fitting lid. Again, you need tight-fitting lids. You're going to have long gloves. And if you want, you can sprinkle lime over the bags in the garbage can. It discourages insects and animals. However, use a face mask and use some goggles so that you don't burn your eyes. Sanitize the gloves. And eventually you're going to take that poo to a designated location or whatever as you're directed by the city. Please don't put your carbon-based material and poo in your sewer system when all's clear. It's just going to clog it up and then you've got a worse problem. This is kind of what it might look like. You've got a garage, you've got a bathroom. Disinfect, and I do mean disinfect, not sanitize. You're dealing with hazardous waste. You need to disinfect. Regular bleaches like 5 to 6.25% chlorine. I'm going to suggest that you get concentrated liquid hypochlorite bleach, which is 8.25%. Bleach is the only cheap cleaner that kills bacteria, viruses, mold, and its spores, and you need to kill it all. The only problem is all this testing was done with 10% hypochlorite bleach, and you can't buy it. You need 10 minutes of wet contact. Bless the military's heart. This information came from the Army. You need 10 minutes of wet contact, which means Clorox wipes are going to sanitize, but they're not going to disinfect. They dry too soon. Liquid bleach, however, loses 40 or 50% of its chlorine after 1 year. Don't store liquid bleach. It's not going to last. After 2 years, you're not going to have a lot of bleach left, at least chlorine left. It'll turn into water and salt. Now, sodium dichloroisocyanurate bleach, that's dry bleach, can last up to 10 years. It takes 3 tablespoons per gallon of water to equal your regular liquid bleach. Again, you have to leave it on the surface for 10 minutes. It needs to be wet for 10 minutes. However, this dry bleach, once it's dissolved, breaks down and loses chlorine faster than regular liquid bleach. These break down whether the lid's on or not. All right, pool shock. I've got some people that are suggesting that people use calcium hypochlorite pool shock. It's very, very high in chlorine and is wonderful at disinfecting. The only problem is it also produces a lot of chlorine gas. If you're planning on using this, do lots of research. I am not suggesting that you use it. And don't mix these bleaches. They have different chemical makeups, and they're not to be mixed. I don't want you to have serious problems. Converting a toilet into a poo bucket, and you can do this, but you need to turn off the water to your toilet, remove all the water from the tank, and I mean remove all the water. It's got to be completely dry. And then you're going to sanitize it, and I mean disinfect it with bleach. And then you've got to dry it out completely. You do not want lovely anaerobic germs growing in your toilet at the bottom of a plastic bag that you're going to remove. Plug the toilet. You're going to put a racquetball in a sock and then put it into the hole with some Vaseline or shortening. Then you're going to put a heavy-duty plastic bag in the toilet. Make sure it's secure and follow directions for your poo bucket. Make sure you have a tight-fitting lid for the toilet to keep out the insects. And understand that the toilet lids don't go all the way down. They've got little plugs on the ends so that they don't fit securely on that toilet. Otherwise, you're going to have odor. You're going to have cute little bugs like ants crawling around, and you're going to have problems. Okay, the sewer main's not down, but the water line is down. Have a friend that lived through serious earthquake in LA, and freeways pancaked and apartment buildings pancaked. But you know what? The sewer pipes were not broken. Boy, I hope that's okay. I don't want any pancaking, but I really hope the sewer lines don't get broken. All right, if you're absolutely sure that the sewer lines work, but your water lines are broken, you can flush your toilet with a gallon of water. Pour it directly into the bowl. Don't put it in the tank. It doesn't work that way. Your toilet flushes with gravity. All your sewage probably works strictly by gravity unless there's some pumps near your sewer plant. However, this uses lots of water, and if you've got broken water pipes, you may use that water, to drink and cook and clean, and you just figure it out yourself. This is called poop by the bucket. This lovely graph, I don't know where it came from. I can't find it again. My email is at the beginning of the presentation. If you know where it came from, will you let me know so I can cite it and give them credit for it? This basically tells you to get a bucket 4/5 full, how long it will take. 6 people, it'll take about a day. However, I'm not going to let a poo bucket or a pee bucket get 4/5 full. That's a little too full for me. Anyway, but this may give you an idea as to what you're looking at. Yay, the lines are plugged. You have a poo and pee bucket, and you know how to use it. There's no diseases, and you can wait for the city to pick up all the garbage. Now, if your city says you can bury poo in your backyard, then you can watch the next 3 slides. They're for you. This means you have talked to your city sanitation department and they have said it's okay. But chances are they're not going to allow you to do it. This is how you would install a septic tank. You're welcome to stop the presentation so that you can take notes or whatever you would like to do. This is how you would bury poo in your backyard. It's called a hole 3 feet deep, and how you handle the poo and the plastic bag and the lime. You can also compost human waste. I'm going to suggest that you go on the internet to Shea Boddington Bucket Toilets. He and his wife have done this, lived with it. Very, very practical advice, and he can give you lots of good help. Advice. Okay, problems and solutions. Animals and insects love poo, and they do, and I don't know what it is about animals. Don't panic. There is a solution. These are our poo lovers, and I will let you know they are attracted to odor from garbage and human waste. And frankly, it doesn't just attract domestic animals. It can attract animals that you didn't know existed until after a disaster. Sometimes your pets, after a disaster, will have their behavior revert to previous behavior because they're just upset. During the Middle Ages, they had a thing called the Black Death. And what would happen is they figured out that the rats would eat human poo, they'd become infected, and then the fleas would bite the rats, and then the fleas would bite human beings, and human beings would die a horrible death. You can reduce odor and insect problems by keeping those doors closed and the lids down on those buckets. That's why you need tight-fitting lids. Now, sticky tape or fly paper is a great non-toxic way to control those flying insects and mosquitoes. Determine what pesticides are best for your family. Fly strips, mouse traps, bug spray. Use them all according to directions and be responsible. Don't poison your family and don't chase a fly around the house with Raid. You can reduce odors and problems by using lime. And I don't mean this kind of lime, I mean this kind of lime. Powdered lime has been used for years to reduce the odors from latrines and outhouses. It breaks down hydrogen sulfides, that stinky gas that comes from sewage. Just a sprinkle of lime each time you put a new bag in the garbage can will work in most situations. Keep the lime supply, though, off of your cement floors. Cement leaches moisture into other things. It'll leach moisture into your lime and make it lumpy. Lime's a very light powder, so make sure you wear a mask and use goggles when using it. It's caustic. If you've got a sore, it can burn your skin. If you feel uncomfortable using lime, yay, the lines are plugged. You have a poo and a pee bucket and you know how to use it, and insects and animals are no problem. Okay, disaster rules to live by. Compost all your plant and vegetable waste. Remember, we're trying to eliminate as much garbage as possible. There are all sorts of instructions online. I'm going to refer you to that, or if you've got a neighbor who really knows how to compost, ask them. Burn paper. Burn carefully. We're not used to burning in our society. We just simply throw everything away. If you've got a Boy Scout around, get that Boy Scout manual. It has great instructions. Don't ever burn human or animal waste. It is toxic. Now, small bits of animal food waste like chicken fat can go in your poo bucket. However, be aware that as animal fat decays, it has a bad smell. Make sure you wash your hands all the time. Wash them with good soap. Human poo can be composted. You need a drain field. You can't do this in most locations. Don't make everybody sick. Okay, this is what you need, and these are the basic things that you need. All right, get 2 5 or 6 gallon buckets or 1 bucket in a toilet. And if you have multiple toilets, try just to use one, but it depends on the size of your family. Put those buckets in a place they will not fall over, and you might want a backup bucket just in case you develop cracks or that kind of stuff in a bucket. Get some tight-fitting lids. That's very, very important. And then 2 toilet seats or 1 toilet seat if you're using your regular toilet. But you know what? You can actually survive without a toilet seat. You're going to need lots of heavy-duty plastic bags. I suggest compactor bags. All right, the basics, lots of carbon material. You can use shredded paper and sawdust or kitty litter or wood chip mulch, whatever works for you. You are going to need about a gallon bag per day. And you can use dirt too, and it's dirt cheap. All right, make sure that you mark your buckets pee and poo. Even small kids can read pee and poo. You're going to need a large receptacle or garbage can with a tight-fitting lid to put your poo bags in. Try getting one with wheels. It'll be easier to move around. Don't use your regular city garbage cans if they don't have tight lids. You're just going to attract animals, and those lids can fly open. You might want to line the can with a large heavy-duty garbage bag just to be safe. And I'm putting my poo receptacle or garbage can and my twin buckets in my garage to eliminate smells in my house and make sure that no animals can access them. You need lots of toilet paper, or if you want, you can make 100% cotton flannel reusable wipes. Plan on an extra large roll of toilet paper per person per week. You're going to need a really expensive pee cup. You're going to need some good hand sanitizer. Actually, bottles of isopropyl alcohol are a lot cheaper and will work just as well. You also need lots of bars of good soap. What you need, the basics, is to be able to disinfect. You'll need concentrated sodium hypochlorite bleach or dry bleach. What you need, the basics. If you can access your plumbing cleanout and you know what you are doing, I suggest you get a 4-inch test ball plug. You're going to also need a pipe wrench, probably an extension hose to plug into your test ball plug, and a pressure indicating pump. Basics: racquetballs, heavy-duty socks, shortening Vaseline, test plug. You'll need several vinyl disposable gloves and a large, long pair of rubber gloves. Okay, this is what you need. These are the extras. If you want, you can get a large bag of lime. And then 2 plastic buckets with tight lids, one for the lime and one for the carbon material. That way nothing gets into your lime, nothing spills in it if it's got a lid. And that carbon material, I don't want a kitty to decide that's their litter box, so you need a lid for it. 2 long handle spoons or scoops. This eliminates having spills. Remember, lime's caustic and can burn your eyes and skin and lungs. So use face masks, use safety glasses, and cover your skin. Tampons will compost. Put them in your poo bucket. Disposable diapers or sanitary napkins will go in their own plastic bag and then in the poo garbage can out in your garage. Please eliminate waste, though. That's one of our goals. Use cloth diapers if you can for infants and adults. Australia did some research, and they predict that disposable diapers will take 500 years to decompose. Use the pesticides of your choice. Flypaper is non-toxic, and so are mousetraps, and get some bug spray that you like and that you can use responsibly. You may want to obtain feminine hygiene bags for each woman that will need one. You can make everything you need, and there's all sorts of information online. It'll take 100% cotton flannel, but remember, the goal here is to eliminate waste. Depending on what you have around the house, I figure this is going to cost $45 and up. These are disaster rules to live by. Don't kill your neighbors. You can't put poo in your regular trash. Remember, it's hazardous waste. Diarrhea and vomit will go in the poo bucket. You'll probably want to use some kitty litter to dry it out and then dispose of the bag right away to help with infection. You cannot bury poo in most places due to drainage, etc. Don't kill your neighbors and everyone's pets. You can't burn human waste. It will release toxins. Remember, be safe. We love you. We don't want anyone to panic. And please keep your solutions simple.